I mean, that is beyond rough. Hurdle down the lane to lay it up and in.
Well, I wouldn't say we're still seeing like that stuff like that. I would say that's the first time we've seen that all year. I know we've lost some games that we should have won, 5 or 6 of them probably.
Several days later.
So Wiggins picks up the foul. You see Steph Curry's reaction to it.
Yeah, but having said that, I don't think he had a choice. Like, he was either going to give up a layup or the foul because he had him beat.
So, a lot of teams, a lot of fans are excited because the Warriors' downfall is finally here, right? Well, not so fast, of course, because we here will have hope until, well, the wheels fall off, and we'll see what happens this trade deadline, because Steph Curry has essentially given them the green light to do whatever the hell they want. And apparently, Shams reported that everyone not named Steph Curry is available. What that means, will Klay and Draymond get traded? Highly unlikely. But we'll talk about some of those potential deals that could happen at the end of this video or in another video. We'll see. But I'll give you some semi-realistic trades or trade partners that make the most sense as of right now and the reasoning for it, right? The Warriors clearly need another 3-and-D guy, preferably a wing, but yeah, that's hard to find, hard to come by this league, and they need another essentially high-end talent, which, I mean, Siakam, Markkanen, who might not be even available really, if you're being honest, but that's just what it is, right? They need something like that, and they need bigger bodies at the same time. So I made some mock trades, we'll talk about them, and we'll see, man. It's hard to predict right now how the market will be. We saw the OG Anunoby trade, Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett, and a first-round pick is an interesting setting stone, and we'll have to wait and see what happens and how desperate teams get, really, right? The Warriors will want to compete with Steph Curry throughout these next 2 years, so it's hard to imagine them just sending Klay and Draymond out for, not for players that will not help them in the near future. So let's talk about it, and let's start here with this trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers. There was a report yesterday that they are interested in Andrew Wiggins, or could be interested. So could you trade Wiggins for LeVert and Okoro? I don't know the picks here. I really don't know the value of these guys, but you would essentially be getting rid of Wiggins' contract, who is just on a huge steep decline. Maybe a change of scenery will help him, but there have been a lot of weird rumors around Andrew Wiggins and off-the-court stuff that I don't want to get into. I just hope Andrew Wiggins is in a good place. At the end of the day, he's a human being, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't want to put anything on him, really, right? Because that's also not the nicest thing to do, that say there's clearly something wrong off the court. We just don't know, and I sincerely hope that he's all right, at least off the court, man. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. And that 2022 run, that finals run, that playoff run will never be forgotten, man. He is a legend certified, but it might be time to get rid of him. And in this potential deal, we would be getting Caris LeVert back and Isaac Okoro. Wiggins out would free up the minutes for Kuminga, and you would get a bench scorer in Caris LeVert that is 6'6", can handle the ball, can create his own shot. He is a little on and off, and you would get a 6'5", another wing defender that, is bad offensively. It would be more of a lateral move here, getting rid of Wiggins' contract more than anything else. The trade you would really like to have here with the Cavaliers would be getting Jared Allen. But Jared Allen has 3 years left on his deal, and with the way he's been playing lately, I just don't see them trading Jared Allen, especially not for an Andrew Wiggins. There certainly would have to be more picks involved here, right? You would probably have to give up 1 or 2 picks. Maybe a Moody, maybe a Kuminga. I don't know how valuable Jared Allen is in the NBA landscape, but he's 25 years old, averaging a double-double, balling out since the Cavaliers got huge injuries. The question mark here, of course, is with the Cavaliers if him and Mobley will be able to play together, because this year together they've not been as efficient. But I think that's highly overestimated, and I just don't see the Cavaliers trading Jared Allen. It would, to me, be a dumb move from them, especially for Andrew Wiggins. Could you see it for I don't know, could they do it for a Draymond, but would Draymond and Mobley work together? I don't know, man. But those are just speculations at the end of the day. The most trade that makes the most sense with the Cavaliers would be for Levert and Okoro, really. I don't know if you could get anything else from here. Next up, I have a trade with the Nets. This is all about Nick Claxton. So you would want Nick Claxton from them. If you were to trade Wiggins to them, you would have to match the salary, which would mean a Dorian Finney-Smith, for example. But once again, why would the Nets do this, right? Why would the Nets send Dorian Finney-Smith and Nick Claxton, who have both been better than Wiggins, to the Warriors for Wiggins and I don't know how many picks, probably one non-protected pick, really, maybe later down the line. But why would they trade Dorian Finney-Smith on a better contract for a Wiggins when they already have so many players at this position? So the more likelier trade with the Nets could be sending Chris Paul to them to have a true point guard. Could you make that happen with some of these contracts? Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie here. So you would essentially be swapping deals. The Warriors would have more financial flexibility. You would have Dinwiddie as another shot creator off the bench. Nick Claxton as a big body, a rim protector. Even though he's not as strong, you would essentially be getting a better trace probably as of right now, right? Is that a good comparison? I don't know, but how you would have to make this work? 2 first-round picks would be probably crazy, right? But could you make something like this work? I don't know why would the Nets necessarily really do this, but the Nets are a dumb bunch, really. So you really can't predict what they'll be doing. Could you just get Claxton for somebody? Could you trade? I don't know if Looney would make sense for them. Could you trade Moody for Claxton with somebody? How would that work? You would have to take $5 more million. So I don't know how a trade simply for Nick Claxton could work. Maybe a GP2, but once again, why would the Nets really do this? Of course, without the picks. I don't know, but there are, of course, possibilities with the Nets. Highly unlikely we'll see them trade Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, probably even Finney-Smith, but I showed you my ideas here. Not much more to add here with the Nets. I have a hard time seeing, how some of these trades would make sense for the other teams unless they believe in Wiggins' bounce back, or if they were able to get Kuminga, right? If you were able to get Kuminga, I guess you could see his potential, but like I said, with this team specifically, it's hard to find a good match unless they really would like Chris Paul for this team as a veteran leader who could essentially play a true point guard role that Dinwiddie is trying to play. I don't know. Would that make some type of sense? Maybe. Very well, maybe. But hard to predict what the Nets want to do because the Nets are highly unpredictable, in my opinion, with this trade deadline. Then we have a Hawks trade. There have been, DeJounte Murray's name has been thrown out there in trades and he'll likely get traded. And everyone not named Trae Young and Jalen Johnson is available. So could you try to swap your problems for the Warriors' problems? DeJounte and DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella for Wiggins, Moody, and Chris Paul. Could that make some sense? I don't know, man. It would be a little too crazy, and I don't know about the first-round picks. The Warriors would get DeJounte Murray, who's a bigger guard to play, ball handler, shot creator, right? So that would fit in. You would get a 6'8" wing in DeAndre Hunter and a rim protector in Clint Capella, even though he is moving like Looney sometimes also and on the clear downfall. But you would swap problems. The Hawks would get Moody. Maybe they would want Kuminga here. So they have some true potential, but I don't see Kuminga and Jalen Johnson's fit that much. So maybe Moody would be the much better fit. Wiggins for Hunter would essentially be trading problematic contracts for problematic contracts. But DeAndre Hunter has the better contract. So you would have to truly make do with some picks, right? And Chris Paul just to make the money work. It's a little bit of a crazy trade. But we saw some potential trades with DeJounte Murray out there. We saw essentially, I'm pretty sure it was just these two with picks or something like that. It was something along these lines as a mock trade on Twitter. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind this. It could make you better for the Steph for the next 2 years that Steph supposedly, still should be able to compete. But would the Hawks do it? I don't know. But you would certainly improve the high-end talent and the talent on the team in a way, because with the way Wiggins has been playing, the Chris Paul fit, Steve Kerr not being able to help himself with small ball, and Moses Moody pretty much does not play anyway. So you would get 3 playable guys. Maybe it would even make it worse for Steve Kerr to play then. I don't know. But I could see maybe this is one of those trades that you would do and trade Wiggins and trade Kuminga and Wiggins for something else also, right? Maybe that's just how it could go. You could see a Chris Paul Moody package for something and a Kuminga Wiggins package for something, or a Wiggins for something. There could be there could be a lot of going on for the Warriors with the way the season is going. I think this is the most likely trade happening. As we have the trade with the Raptors, Pascal Siakam, obviously a shot creator, a potential star that could be even here for, with a contract extension for another 5 years. He gives you a great downhill presence. He's 6'8". He can knock down corner 3-pointers, which he should be able to get more of with. Steph and Klay gives you another, gives you another front court help for Draymond. You would have Steph, Klay, still Kuminga and Wiggins, with Siakam and Draymond. Looney would still be out there. Maybe you would make another trade with Kuminga or Wiggins. Like I said, you would get Otto Porter Jr. back. Maybe the Warriors magic will rub off on him again, and he'll somehow once again be healthy. I don't know. But of course, there are no picks here. You would have to give up most likely at least 2 picks for a Siakam who's expiring and likely to test the market. With OG be getting 1. I don't know. This seems the most likely deal. That also, they might also just not want Moody as the centerpiece, and they would want Kuminga precisely. Would that change the picks? You would for sure have to give them at least 1 pick, without a doubt. So it could be something like this also. It's hard for me with these trades. I've grown attached to these young players, right? To Kuminga, to Moody. But at the end of the day, I guess that's what has to be done. And if you can get Siakam and upgrade this talent on this team, the high-end talent on this team, and maybe just make Steve's jobs a little easier with more veterans, not many of those young guys, and have more clear paths to playing time for everyone, it could help this team be competitive, even though I don't know if I see it coming truly. But hey, if you believe the core still can win, then these type of moves make sense. Much more than the previous one. This one makes the most sense. Besides this one, this would make the most sense if you were able to do this, but I don't think they would want to give up these players without Kuminga involved. Maybe with Podziemski and Moody involved, you could see it with the length and size, but they are already, overloaded with some of these guards, and they have Keontae George, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton. So maybe they would much rather see more front court help, but the Jazz are a weird bunch with some of the young guys they have, right? Taylor Hendricks is a power forward they drafted this year. Volker Kessler is 22 years old at the center position. So I guess Kuminga would make more sense here, unless you see Moody as a small forward, which he certainly could be, and you would have to give up a haul of picks here for Lauri Markkanen and extend him. He gives you a big man, he can shoot it, he can create his own shot, he fits perfectly. Kelly Olynyk would give you another big body that can shoot, and Chris Dunn would be in the deal for money purposes, of course. I don't see the Jazz doing this with the way they've been playing, and it would make little to no sense to me for the Jazz to do this unless they just really wanted those 3 first-round picks, and you would think that the Warriors would still be bad. But it's something that I would love to see for sure. Lastly, this is a little bit of a off-the-wall one, because you would get another 3-and-D guy in Malcolm Brogdon, and you would get a big guy in DeAndre Ayton for Wiggins and Chris Paul. Maybe you would have to include Moody or Kuminga in here. I don't know if the money works if you include Moody when we look at this trade. maybe a first rounder, maybe more second rounders, I don't know. But Malcolm Brogdon obviously would be a great 3-and-D guy into this rotation. The Blazers would get a veteran presence in Chris Paul. Then you could revive Andrew Wiggins' career at small forward, even though they are, they have Shaden Sharp, Simons, and Scoot already pretty much locking up the guard spot. So maybe Wiggins could fit right in with them, with Jeremy Grant next to him. And DeAndre Ayton, you could take a flyer on him. He has not been good. So maybe you would be able to tap into his potential, get a big body at least, even though he's one of the biggest disappointments, right? And it's a huge contract, but maybe you could take a risk on him and hope that he's able to do something in the next 3 years. There's some potential in there for sure. And if they were to trade Klay, there was this rumor with the Bulls, straight up swap for Zach LaVine. I don't know why the Warriors would do this for 4 years of Zach LaVine unless Klay resigned this offseason for nothing. Zach LaVine would give you another shot creator, another ball handler, but I don't think this overall makes your team more of a championship contender. Any other place Klay could go, could you somehow trade him to some of these contenders for something of use down the line? I don't think so, right? Why would they give you something of use in the next 2 years for a Klay Thompson right now? I don't know. I don't know if there is any place that would do that for you. And it's highly unlikely. As for Draymond, the only trade you could see is coming to his king, his glorious Pookie Bear, LeBron James. But what would you want from the goddamn Lakers here that would make you want to trade him there? Nothing. So I just don't see them moving Steph obviously, but Klay and Draymond either way. I think Wiggins will be moved very likely. Chris Paul, certainly another good candidate to be moved. But any of these guys really could be moved, as we saw. And those are some of the trades that I came up with. I saw some really good ideas on Twitter. Shout out to Justin, who runs the Golden Spaces who runs Golden Spaces on Twitter podcast, Great Warriors podcast, if you want to listen to that. Nico on Twitter, Nico Tochu, I think is his ad. He makes some good. He made some trades there. Nonetheless, these are my ideas that make some sense to me. But I have never had a good eye on trades, so there's that. And yeah, leave your ideas down below. Why you disagree with me on some trades, why you agree with me on some trades. What do you see happening for the Warriors? And tonight we play the Bulls in Chicago. So we'll see what happens there. I don't anticipate these games because we have the Bucks on a back-to-back next, and they just blew out the Celtics. So that is that. As always, be kind to yourself and to others. Love and be, baby.